Sometimes things happen in the gaming community that have such negative connotations associated with them. Whether this is a game launch, developers using shoddy business practices, or any myriad of other problems, everyone always likes to focus on the negative side of these events. But each event has some positive aspects to look at, so why don't we take a moment and look at the bright side of two recent lackluster launches. Let's start with the worst of the two launches, Street Fighter V. This game seems to have pissed off just about everyone, including a good portion of hardcore fighting game players, and it's very easy to see why. The game launched in an abysmal state. On the multiplayer side, the online didn't even seem to function for the first few days, and continues to have occasional problems. It had no punishment for rage quitting from ranked play, leaving a lot of doubt on the current state of the leaderboards, as well as the inability to host a room with more than one person. There's not much to say about the single-player side of Street Fighter V because it would have to have a single-player side to talk about. The bare bones that the game launched with is laughable, in addition to the inability to earn the in-game currency when you're not logged into the server. Now some of you may be thinking, hey wait, I thought we were supposed to be focusing on the good points of these launches, and so far all you've done is harp on the game. And you know what? You're right. This is why ADHD sucks. But back to the point. There is indeed a few bright spots for this game. First of which is that the game is super fun when it functions. The gameplay and game balance so far appear to be in such a state where I feel any character can win at any level with enough effort and practice, which is a big deal for fighting games. Secondly, Capcom is going to be continually updating this game with new content, so the bare bones will get some meat on them after some time has passed. And thirdly, with this colossal failure of a launch, at least other fighting game companies have a benchmark to look at as a complete failure. Next, let's talk about the less horrendous launch of Far Cry Primal, a game that had a really interesting premise that Ubisoft just played it way too safe with. Now, in stark contrast to Street Fighter V's problems, Far Cry Primal still had a large amount of single-player content to offer in its open world. Too bad it was mostly the same single-player content we played in 3. And Blood Dragon. And 4. Are we seeing a pattern here? It seems like Ubisoft wanted to try something to mix it up a bit, but didn't want to commit fully to it. So they stuck with the same things with different names inserted into the blank spots, like the safest game of Mad Libs ever played. Now, what are the bright spots of this launch? Well, first off, the game can still be fun even though it's almost a copy-paste of previous games. Secondly, it's probably the closest we're ever going to get to a good Beastmaster game. And thirdly, it didn't do well enough that we would have to watch Activision flounder around with trying to make a prehistoric COD with dinosaur zombies. Well, that's all for now. If you liked this video, go ahead and mash that like and subscribe button, and if you have any comments or anything else you'd like to see me rant about, feel free to leave a comment in the sections below. And until next time, keep gaming.